It's one of those days. Like what happened today? If if you go back a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, and if you said what happened today was going to happen, no one no one would believe you. They just wouldn't believe you. The level of utter chaos in the courtroom today. And I'm not talking about that type of chaos. I'm talking about like looking at it and saying, what just happened? What happened today? What happened inside of our courtrooms? Wow. Who was expecting this? Who would expect what happened today was even within the realm of possibility? And you start with the Idaho 4. A plea deal? Really? This mass red rummer doesn't get the maximum. Prosecutors don't even try to get the maximum and instead give him a deal. You know, as a prosecutor, you have discretion. And there's usually two kinds of prosecutors that I worked with. They're the ones that were always looking to just make a deal, get rid of the case, get rid of the case, get rid of the case, and avoid the trial. Then there were the other ones who would look at it and say, depending upon the circumstances, would say, okay, yeah, this person I could see giving a deal. This person, they don't get a deal. He got a deal. He got a deal. And there's different reasons for a deal. Like you don't have strength in your case. There's some weaknesses in your case. You're concerned about possibly losing or possibly a lesser included offense being the verdict. So you're concerned. So you offer a deal. Like, wow. Like, should he get the benefit of anything? And I don't want to hear these arguments about the cost. I don't want to hear the arguments about the time consumption, how much, our system has to do. Like this is what the system is set up for. It's set up for it to handle this. If our system, if a prosecutor, if a judge, if a courtroom can't handle a case like this, then they're in the wrong business. It's your job. It is your job. To give this guy a deal, you have to, in your mind, say, okay, well, you know what? All things considered, he doesn't deserve the ultimate punishment. He doesn't deserve the maximum for what he did. You have to make that, you have to do that analysis to get there. So that's the one thing. That's in Idaho. Then you go to New York City, where we're still waiting to find out what's going on with the bond. But Diddy won. Diddy won the case. There's no way to spin this any other way. He won the case. The charges he was convicted of, you go to the sentencing guidelines, the calculation is probably somewhere between 21 to 27 months or so, give or take. Those are the guidelines. Months. He's already spent time behind bars. There's a good chance when he gets sentenced, he gets time served and then is put on parole or probation for some number of years. It's very possible. It's his first offense. And now we're trying to see if he's going to, and to me, the chaos in that case was created by the prosecution again. Why? This was never a RICO case. This was never a criminal enterprise. This was never the intention of the RICO statute. These were state felony cases, simple state felony cases. Yes, there was bad behavior. Yes, there was criminal behavior. Absolutely, but not RICO. This wasn't about RICO. That was ridiculous. That's an overreach, and really, what I would say would be the level of discretion used by the prosecutor in taking a state case and trying to mangle it and squeeze it so he could get it into federal court. And the guy's name was Damian Williams. He was the U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, did a bunch of high-profile cases. He was on a roll. So he said, oh, let me see if I can get Diddy. That'll be a good one to put in my column. He's no longer there because Biden lost the election, so he's out. So he wasn't there for this chaotic trial that he set in motion to get a headline. And that was the problem here. This case never should have been in federal court. Never, 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 never. If there were crimes committed, there were crimes committed in states or different states. Prosecute him there. Trying to turn this into RICO was ridiculous from the beginning. I mean, everybody knows that. Like, can you honestly look at yourself and say, oh yeah, this was a criminal enterprise that he was running? He was running a business. He was just a rich guy with some deviant behavior that crossed the line. But this was not a criminal enterprise. You know what a criminal enterprise is? John Gotti, La Cosa Nostra. These are organizations set up to commit crimes and profit from those crimes. And the people at the top, you can never get to. You could never touch the top guy because the top guy isn't going to go down and, sell narcotics on the streets or, collect money from someone. The top guy's not going to do that. That's what RICO was created for, to get to the top guy and make him responsible for everything. And you round up a whole bunch of folks and you try to get the folks you're rounding up to flip and testify against the guy at the top. That's what RICO was about. That's what it was created for. To get to the untouchable in these actual criminal enterprises. In this case, Diddy is the one actually doing the stuff for the most part. He's like actually engaged in doing it. And it was a different type of crime that he was engaging in. It wasn't an enterprise that was set up to commit crimes. His enterprise was set up to run his businesses, and he had people around him that would do anything for him. So he hired someone to do this, someone to do that. I mean, under that definition of RICO, it's like anyone who commits a crime and has someone help them, all of a sudden you can turn that into some criminal enterprise, which it isn't. That's not the purpose. Like RICO itself is not like a crime. It was a means to an end. It was a way to get to people who were committing all these other predicate crimes, or what they call it. Well, just prosecute them for the predicates in state court instead of trying to make a federal case out. That was ridiculous, and they paid the price for it. This is embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing for the man who brought the case, who's no longer in office, and for the entire office. It's laughable. The level of resources and time and effort that went into this case, when the feds should be dealing with much bigger issues, like real big corruption that impacts the nation, whether you're talking about terrorism or manipulation of stock market and things like that. Like, stay in your lane. This was never a federal case. Never. It was squeezed and manipulated to get it into federal court. And the jury saw through that. Obviously. So that's and really, in both scenarios today where there's chaos, you can point to prosecutors both times. In a case where we had an actual horrific mass red rum, they get a deal. And on the other hand, they're trying to get life for Diddy for something that never should have been in a federal courtroom to begin with. Anyhow, I thought I'd get on here today because a lot happened. We're going to be talking about it on the show tonight. 2 hours of live true crime, 8 o'clock. Closing arguments. We'll talk about both of these stories. 9 o'clock, deep dive into the Idaho 4 case and some of the new stuff that we learned today, the pieces that were put together during the allocution. Let me tell you something else that Idaho dropped the ball today. Like in this guilty plea, the defendant didn't have to say anything other than just yes, 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 yes. By the way, I'm getting reports right now that it's like chaos outside of the courthouse. Here, let me download this. See if I can download this. 1 second. Right. So right now, Diddy's trying to get released. Meanwhile, there's some level of madness in New York City outside the courthouse right now, because word has spread about all of this. All right. Let me see if I can get this on. I've got people that are sending me stuff from the courthouse, so I'm gonna try to send you some of those images. Let me have them send some more. One second. All right. Let me see if I'll get this first one up so you get an idea of some of the chaos. Let me see. Did we get it? Not yet. It didn't come through yet. Let me see. 1 second. One second. I'm just trying to get you some of these pictures. Okay, this should be here now. Let me see. All right, I got one. Let me get it. Straight from the courthouse in New York. You get an idea of some of the chaos and madness happening right there. I hope it's safe to show. Let me 1 second. There we go. It's going to be risky. I'm going to put it up there. I don't know what it is. Let's see. It's just sent to me.
Things are chaotic. Things are wild. How do you feel?
All right, that's a short piece. Fun in New York City right now. I heard people are actually saying it's chaotic, but right now we're trying to find out if Diddy will get released on bond, because he's facing months, right? Maybe a little less than 2 years max, according to the guidelines, right? A little less than 2 years as a maximum. He could get less. There could be a downward departure. He has no record, so that should help him in the federal system in terms of what he's facing. But he's trying to get out on $1 million bond, and I think it's going to be, they're recommending maybe home confinement down in Florida. Obviously, he'd give up his passport. Apparently, his private plane is in Maui right now. So we'll see if the judge grants it or not. But that's supposed to be happening, I think, at 5 o'clock is when that's all being heard. So the papers have been filed. Oh, I've got more video here. 1 second. I got more of the chaos for you. I'll have that for you in a second. I'm going to read what the lawyers are saying for Diddy right now. Mr. Combs moves for release on appropriate conditions pending sentencing. He's been acquitted of the RICO and the sex trafficking, and continued detention is inappropriate. He came to New York voluntarily and surrendered himself. Okay, applicable law. Let's see what they're saying here. If they have no risk of flight, they're claiming. It's a pretty lengthy filing here. Proposed conditions. The defense proposes the following bail package. $1 million bond co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, and the mother of his oldest daughter. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida, Central District of California, Southern District of New York to attend court and meet with counsel, as well as the Eastern District of New York or the District of New Jersey, only to the extent that his travel from New York involves an airport in those districts. Yeah, good luck getting in and out of Newark Airport. Mr. Combs' passport will be surrendered, drug testing as ordered. All other standard conditions apply. So that's what they are proposing. I don't know what the prosecution is going to say on that, but like after an embarrassing loss like that, you should just fold your card and say, yeah, that's fine. Like you really should. Like you really should. Like he's served time already. He'll get credit for, and there's a chance he may not get more time than he has served. In the interest of justice, based upon what the conviction is for the transportation, prosecutors should let him out on bond, even though he's been convicted, because he's already served some time. But that was all when he was facing life in prison. He no longer is. So I wouldn't be shocked if he gets out today. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know the judge, though. I don't know what kind of judge this is. Meanwhile, going back out to, and I'm going to get to your comments very quickly because this isn't going to be the longest program that I've done. In Idaho, outrage from two of the families. Two of the other families are fine with what happened. But I think there's also, I think what you're going to see at the sentencing and what you'll hear at the sentencing is the families talk about the impact that the crimes have had on them and the impact that the system of justice has had on them as well, in the way they've been treated. And the general feeling I'm getting is that the family feels, I'm talking about the Gonzalez family, feels like they've been slighted, and that the defendant's family has been treated better than they have been treated. So you're probably going to hear more about that. Okay. Oh, yeah. Gen X reminding us who's ready to win a prize. Today is the blood sugar drawing. That's right. We're going to draw some blood sugar. We got the blood sugar drawing today. This is from Q1. So for those of you who've been watching the program, you know, at the end of many of the live streams, not all of them, many of them, we play a game called Guess My Blood Sugar. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Whoever gets the number gets put on the list. And then there's a list of people each quarter. Whoever wins the most times in that quarter wins the prize, which is you pick out any item you want from the Vinny Originale True Crime merch shop. Well, this quarter, we had a tie amongst 7 people. So those names will be going into a bag and we will draw a winner. I'm just not sure how I want to do it. Do we just want to pick one name out, or do we want to do it like, is it Dancing with the Stars way, where you pick out someone and they are now not a winner? Pick out the next one, you are not a winner until there's just 2 left. And then when there's 2 left, we pick out the winner. Should we do it that way? That just sounds more dramatic, but I'll need some dramatic music for that. Do I even have the dramatic music for that? I probably do somewhere. But I think that's the way I want to do it. It's more dramatic, right? Rather than just picking one name out and you're the winner. I'll pick one out and say, oh, thank you so much for playing, but you're not the winner. And we've got 7 of them, so it won't take that long. So we're going to do that. Shortly. So 7 people are in it. Lindsay, how you doing? Ginny, Polar Bear, Bogey, Anita, and Micah. So I think that was all 7. I think that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's all 7. So that drawing's coming up. That drawing is coming up, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. It's time for
right.
It's time to get happy. It's time to get funky. It's time for us to smile. Here comes McSpunky.
There we go, McSpunky. Great to have you aboard, McSpunky. bringing a smile to our face on this, a chaotic day inside of the courtrooms across America. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I saw someone said give all 7 a prize. Well, I'm going to go bankrupt. I can't do that. That's like, oh my goodness. The big prize is the Christmas party. You gotta come to the Tangent Christmas Party special, and we have lots of prizes all night. We have trivia and fun. I mean, we gave out a lot of stuff at the last Christmas party, so we'll have another Christmas party. It's a tradition. We've been doing the Christmas party since Court TV Radio back in the day, so that's what we'll do. Thank you, McSpunky. All right. Okay, so let me get back into this mode. Boom. All right. All right, Pixie Dust. I've lost all faith the system today. Well, there's a couple different ways to look at it, right? A prosecutor folding and giving a deal to a guy like this, you know, obviously to the families, it was the best case scenario for them. And that's important. That's obviously important. But to the families, it was worst case scenario for them. Something they did not want and did not believe in. So, you know, that's a wash. And the judge pointed out that, you know, it's up to the prosecutor to make those decisions about what he's going to offer. But the prosecutor is you know, someone representing the people of the state. And what do the people of the state want? Do the people of the state want the D pen, or don't they want the D pen? Because it should not just be used as a negotiating tool. That's not its purpose. And I spoke to the former Attorney General of Idaho, and I asked him that specific question last night. I said, what is the purpose of the D pen, which is the penalty you get? You know, the penalty you get. Don't like to say it here because, you know, social media people, very sensitive with their algorithms. But I said, what's it there for? Is it there to punish the worst of the worst, or is it there for punishment, or is it there to be used as a negotiation tool by prosecutors? He said, no, it's there for punishment. Well, that's not how it was used here. It was used as a negotiating tool. And I don't think that, you know. Like then who gets the D pen? Like if you're that prosecutor, can you even ask for it for anyone else? If you're willing to not seek it in a case like this, then everyone has to get that offer. Every defendant has to get that offer. And most of them will probably take it because I'm sure, you know, you're very good at solving the crimes. The people are guilty. They did it. He admitted today he did it. We knew the evidence was overwhelming, but now it's been confirmed by him. So, okay. So thank you, Pixie Dust. And here's something that a lot of people are saying today, and I'll address this. What about the victims in the Diddy case? I've lost all faith in the justice system. Here's the problem. Here's the problem is what prosecutors attempted to do here. This was sometimes when you reach so high, it gets lost in the sauce and you lose your credibility. This isn't and never was a RICO case. What you have to understand about our system of justice, criminal justice, is that most cases are state cases. The jurisdiction of the federal criminal courts are limited, very much limited in their reach. There are certain statutes they have, civil rights violations, things like that fall under the federal jurisdiction. But if you assault someone like he did in that hotel, that's a California case. That's a California case. If someone commits essay, that's a state case. Where did you commit that? That's where the case should be brought. Where did you force someone to do something against their will? Where did you kidnap someone? Where did you commit arson? It's wherever you do that. The state statutes and the way our system of criminal justice was set up in this country has set it up that the states have jurisdiction over the crimes that happen within their borders. Very few things are federal crimes. And this was a case where you took state felonies and squeezed them and manipulated them and tried to sell to a jury that this was a federal racketeering case. And they rejected it. They rejected it. And if you go back to the history of the federal racketeering statutes, it had nothing to do with this. It's not a way to scoop up a bunch of cases from different jurisdictions and then say it's a criminal enterprise. That was never the intention of it. But prosecutors have gotten very aggressive with their use of RICO. And at some point, the public is gonna turn on them and say, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? Whereas if you tried these as separate crimes in separate states and separate jurisdictions, he would have been facing 7 trials. And you go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. You have a simple case for the jury. You put the evidence of that particular crime, and the jury comes back. The problem here is the way it was prosecuted. And may have been also when it was prosecuted. And this is another admission, I think, by prosecutors. If the statute of limitations runs on certain crimes, they're trying to figure out a way to get around the statute of limitations. So let's bring a federal case and we'll call it RICO. And if it's RICO, it's a continuing enterprise, right? So if the enterprise is continuing, there's no statute of limitations problem. Then you can argue, is that fair? Is that not fair? Well, it would be fair if someone was actually running a criminal enterprise. And come on, you and I all know what a criminal enterprise is. It's the feds that tried to redefine it. And that's problematic. Diddy's behavior crossed the line. Diddy's behavior was criminal. It absolutely was criminal. But was it RICO? No. It wasn't tried the right way. And then you look at, I was a state prosecutor, all right? So maybe I have that prejudice in me in the way that we prosecuted cases. A crime would happen, either the local police or the state police or someone would investigate it, they would solve it, they would make an arrest, and then the prosecutor's office would come in and would prosecute the case. But that's not how the feds work. They work completely differently. That's not how they do they make cases. Sometimes they target people and figure out what they did. And the biggest problem with federal prosecutions, and this is when criminal justice gets messed up, is what motivates the prosecution. Is it looking for a headline? Is it politically motivated, either going after your political enemies or trying to score political points because the head prosecutor wants to run for Senate or wants to run for governor? And I'm going to make these big headline cases. Or are crimes happening and then you're figuring out who's responsible and then you're prosecuting them, right? There's a difference in the approach. And the feds have awesome power in what they wield inside a courtroom. So when they lose, it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. State prosecutors, we lose all the time. We lose all the time. First of all, because, we don't make cases, we solve cases and make arrests. And sometimes all the evidence that we need may not be there. But Diddy has served time already. And if you look at what he's been convicted of, these aren't big charges. These aren't big crimes that he's been convicted of. And maybe, just maybe, if these cases had been tried in state court within the statute of limitations for each thing that happened, for each incident that happened, well, then maybe, just maybe, he would have done a lot more time. And then maybe the victims would feel a sense of justice today. But clearly they're not. Leslie McGuire, thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Leslie. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Let's see what else is going on here. I'm just happy days. Diddy has something like 70 civil cases pending. Legal fees will drain him. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, for some of the victims, if they have a civil case, maybe they'll get some sense of justice from that, whether it's through a settlement or through a trial. But yeah, he's going to be tied up forever as long as those cases survive. Jules Johnson, Vinny, the Cassie video clearly shows non-consent. Absolutely. It also shows an assault. And I would argue it shows an aggravated assault. But apparently for the state charges on that hotel incident, the statute of limitations ran. State didn't prosecute it. I think the only way the state would have been able to prosecute that case would have been if Cassie had immediately gone to police and they were able to get that video. If Cassie had gone to police immediately and police were able to get that video, or if they attempted to get the video and Diddy got the video and destroyed it or whatever, you could attempt to try him for obstruction as well. But yeah. Now, the other part of this case is, and I'm sure at some point we'll hear from some of the jurors, what did they think of the testimony? What did they think of the accusers? Did they believe them? Did they believe them beyond a reasonable doubt? Did they have any problems with their credibility? Did they have problems with credibility of the prosecution? Did they feel that some of the evidence wasn't to the level that they wanted, or did they feel that people weren't telling the truth? Jan Albright, thank you, Vinny, for explaining the Diddy charges. That is my job here, Jean Ann. Thank you so much. Hi, Vinny. Do you know if all the victims' families wanted the DP for BK? I know the Gonzalez family did. Not sure about the others. It was 2-2. I think Kernodle and Gonzalez, yes. Ethan Chapin and Maddie's family, no. They wanted to move on. And they were thankful for it. So it was absolutely a split amongst the four families. Thank you, Steph Greenwoolwich. Hopefully we'll see you in Denver. CrimeCon. Jules Johnson, I'm saying that it's trafficking now. Jury didn't find that. You know, the other problem, and this is a good point. Thank you, Jules. From Michelle Wheeler. It didn't help that one victim took a settlement of $30 million, right? Let me tell you, that's a real thing. When you have an accuser who's entitled to a civil judgment or a civil settlement, absolutely entitled to the money for their damages. However, when that comes out in front of a criminal jury, it's problematic. I mean, in Diddy's first trial for the nug possession, years ago, I think it was 2001, everyone who testified in the case had filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy. So the jury didn't believe any of them. So that's a problem. Juries have to determine credibility of what people are saying. And if there's civil settlement or a civil lawsuit involved, unfortunately, sometimes they will hold that against the accuser. which they're entitled to do. But I mean, that's just the reality of a trial. Prosecutors have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. And many times you have to prove elements of the crime that can only come from the accuser, which means the accuser must be believed beyond a reasonable doubt. So their story has to make sense. It has to be somewhat corroborated by the independent evidence. You have to withstand the cross-examination. And then if you've engaged in a civil lawsuit or a civil settlement, the jury has to, be able to understand that you're entitled to that. You are entitled to that. It's a different part of our system of justice, but they work hand in hand. They're not mutually exclusive. If you've been wronged by a criminal, you can sue the criminal. Many times in the criminal case, they'll be ordered to pay you restitution for losses in a robbery case or a theft case. Part of their sentence is to pay you back so you don't have to file the civil lawsuit. But in a case like this, where it's a different type of damage that can't be easily monetized, then you have to file a civil suit. Aaron P., yeah. The dog, it's only one dog making all that noise, by the way. Who's going bananas? That's Suko the dog. So, Butterfly Kisses. Vinny Media is reporting Cassie's begging for no bail. She's fearful of immediate retaliation. What do you think? I think it's true. I think if there is retaliation, that is, wow, that's going to be extremely problematic, especially if the retaliation happens before sentencing, because that can be used against him at sentencing. Jules Johnson, I understand each count carries up to 10 years. What is your best guess on a sentence? I'm going to say maximum of just under 2 years. I think the sentence will be closer to a year to a year and a half, maybe 18, 20 months, something like that. Because so the way it works in the federal system is there's a statute, right? And in the state, it's much more simple. Like the statute is there. It tells you what the range is or what the sentence should be. And it's much more straightforward. In the federal system, there's a statute that says, maximum of 10 years. But then there's this whole other system, which are the federal sentencing guidelines. And the guidelines are a chart where you do a calculation of the offense and who the defendant is. And then wherever the cross section is, it falls in a certain box and it tells you what level it is. And it gives the judge a recommended range to sentence the defendant in. I think this one is 21 to 27, but I'm not sure. It depends upon your interpretation of the crime. And I don't know everything about his potential background, but it's in that ballpark. So that's where he gets sentenced. So while the statute says 10 years facing 20 years, in reality, it's all about the sentencing guidelines. And the judge can go outside of the guidelines, but to do so, you have to have a good reason to either give him a heavier sentence or a lighter sentence from the guidelines. Most judges, they play it safe. It's somewhere within the guidelines. It's rare that you go up. It's rare that you go down. But judges are permitted to do that. So I hope that makes sense. So he's getting out. He's getting out, and he's getting out soon. He's getting out soon. I would be shocked if it's more. Now, it's been a while since I've studied the charts. I took a quick look at it. I could be off. I could be off by a bit. So I was not a federal prosecutor. I was a state prosecutor. Oh, by the way, folks, Gen X pointing out that we do have some of this true crime merch, like allegedly shirts. We've got hoodies. We've got mugs. We've got beach towels with the outline of a victim's body. It's all available for you, ladies and gentlemen, in the Vinny Originale True Crime merch shop.
Hey everybody, hey everybody, I've got something for your body, for your body. You can wear it by yourself or with Frankie Valli. It's true crime merch from Vinny Originale. It's true crime merch. It's true crime merch. It's true crime merch from Vinny Originale. From Vinny Originale.
All right, check it out. Bice, I hope we'll be meeting on Friday for the tangents. Yes, we will be doing the tangents on Friday. We are planning to do that. I've been in contact with the boys. And I'm wondering, what the heck is Al going to talk about on this day in history on July 4th? What will he be talking about? All right. Let's see. Yes, My Life 50 Times. Our amazing mods. What a bunch of amazing women we have in our mod squad.
Order in the chat. Order in the chat. Don't dare attack. We've got order in this chat. The mod squad is on the job, helping us to keep it clean. The mod squad is on the job, always so nice and never mean. So let's give it up and say hello to the three amazing ladies.
All right. Let's get that. Thank you to our mod squad. Let me do this. I've got some more videos. I'm sure everyone wants to see them, so I'm going to try to download them very quickly here. This is stuff that's coming into me from outside the courthouse. Let me see. We got another one here. Oh, you can see the crowd here. Just give me a second. I've got to download this. We'll get some nice pictures and videos for you from the madness in New York. You can see what's happening. All right. And Zuko, come on. There must be someone making a delivery. All right. All right, Vinny, what do you suppose did, and Jules Johnson again, Double J, what is Diddy doing right now? Is he back in the cell or what? Oh my OMG, I can barely stomach it. I think he's in court right now because he's trying to get out on bond before sentencing. And his attorneys, based upon today's developments in the elimination of all the really serious charges and convictions on the least of the charges, have presented a new bail package and trying to get him released on $1 million bond right now. So I'm waiting to see what's going on with that. In the meantime, I can show you what's happening outside of the courthouse, hopefully. Let me see. I think I've got a couple of videos and some other stuff to show you. This is like breaking news. This is all breaking news right here, right now. Let me download all this stuff. It's going to take a second. All right. And again, I have no idea what's on these videos. You're going to watch them with me live here because I have no idea what is going on. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at what is happening. I got to get rid of some things here first. 1 second. Let me remove that. Let me remove that. All right. Let me see what we've got here.
Right? That's how we starting this up. It came with my own personal slip and slide on the Astro block. And I made the song yesterday. Shout out to all my people that turned that to a hit song. Shorty want that Astro slide. Oh, hold up. Shorty want me Astro slide, but that thing's so wet, I don't need no Astro block. Facts. Never needed the Astro block. Shout out to that. Listen to me, y'all. What is the verdict going to be? What is the verdict going to be? Lights up in my building. Pipe up the light like your girlfriend's shirt last night. You know that's right. Get it up.
All right. Let's see what else we have here. This is coming to me from that's the same one.
That's how we starting this up. It came with my own personal slip slide on the Astro block. And I made the song yesterday. Shout out to all my people that turned that to a hit song. Shorty want that Astro slide. Mr. President, how you doing, baby? Wait, hold on. I'll talk, and you listen, and then you talk, and I'll listen.
All right, okay. That's fair.
All right, so here we go. Here we go.
Get it.
First of all, a lot of these people are hypocrites. Like I said, they was out here saying that Diddy was going to jail for life. He was going to get found guilty on the RICO. Then all of a sudden now, the tables turn. The tables turn, and then you see Janice Combs. Hey, Mama Combs. Hey, give me the Astro Clyde. Give me the Johnson. So guess what? So now here's the thing. Truthfully, he's going to prison. And I'm going to tell you why he's going to prison. Y'all keep saying, no, he's in jail. He's not in prison.
No, he's in a prison.
No, he's in jail. MDC is a jail.
MDC is in prison.
MDC is a jail. It's not a prison. Wait, hold on.
He's behind bars.
Listen. Wait, hold on. Look. So look, let me finish this.
There's a little discussion about the difference between prison and jail. Let me see if I've got another one here. Did I do this one? Let's see what this one is. Might be the same one again. Let's see.
Right? That's how we starting this up. It came with my own personal.
Here we go. And this is the other lady from before. All right, we got enough of that. Let me see if there's anything else that's been sent to me. Michelle McGuigan sending some stars on Facebook. Thank you so much. And it looks like bond may have been denied. It looks like bond has been denied. Bond denied today. So it looks like he will stay in jail pending his sentencing. Bottom line is he probably, I don't think there's a difference because he'll likely have to do a little bit more time anyway. You're going to do it on the front end. You're going to do it on the back end. So, great question here from Bo Peep. Can we expect an allocution from BK? No. Today was the day for the allocution. And there was no allocution. What it basically was, he agreed to something that was written on a piece of paper. He agreed to the elements of the crime as told by the judge. He just said, yes. Then the factual allegations were read by the prosecutor as part of the factual basis. The factual basis didn't come from the defendant himself, which to me is unusual, at least the way I practice law. When I practice criminal law, for a guilty plea, the defendant was the one who would have to provide the factual basis and the details. Here today, he did not provide that. All he did was agree that he committed the crimes and agreed that he committed all the elements of all the crimes that he was accused of. So it was basically him saying yes. That's all he did today. He said yes a bunch of times, and he said guilty 5 times, and I think that was it. Oh, we've got a big buzz going right now about food court. Vinny, what is the first dish you're going to feature on food court? Well, first I've got to figure out how we're going to do this. I don't think it's going to be live. I don't think food court is going to be a live program. That's too complicated. But I think it'll be a series of maybe we'll do monthly videos, I'm thinking, monthly videos doing different dishes. Well, the first thing I'm going to do has to be something from my Italian American background. So I think the first dish will be Italian American. Just Nina, Diddy behavior has been worst kept secret since the 90s. How can you prove RICO without a co-conspirator? Shaking my head. Exactly, right? Where were all the other people who were rounded up? You know, when we rounded up Gotti, it wasn't just John Gotti, it was everybody else got rounded up. Aaron P., I'm writing a diabetic cookbook. Do you want to collab? Sure. Please contact the mods, and we'll get into contact on how we can how I can help you a little bit if you want. Let's see. People talking about eggplant, people talking about veal, people talking about chicken. Very nice. All right. Yeah, we'll get there. All right. Let's do the drawing. Why don't we do the drawing? Actually, I need some. Oh, what do I need here? 1 second. I forgot to load something. I forgot to load something. One second. Let me download this. All right, we'll get there in a second. Okay. So get ready for that. I just want to, I'm multitasking here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Do I think Diddy's a flight risk? I actually don't, because if it was RICO when he got out, I'd be like, yeah, flight risk for sure. But for what he's facing, it's months or, you know, another year or two, I believe, based upon my reading of the federal guidelines. Could be different though. Judge could have a different interpretation. So I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. Why? I mean, he shouldn't. I mean, he's convicted, so you have to get to that realization. You're convicted. You're going to have to pay the price, but the price is much less than what it would have been otherwise. Ashley Bouchard wants a little bit of the Jeopardy music going. Yeah, I wonder what the music should be for this. All right. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let me get everything together. What I've done is I've taken the names. Let's go to the blood sugar drawing here. I've taken the names, and everyone's name is on a folded piece of paper. 1 second. There we go. All right. All righty then. Okay. All right, we're not guessing my blood sugar right now. What we're doing is drawing the winner for quarter two, for our Q2 winner who will get to go to the Vinny Originale True Crime Merch Shop, pick out whatever you want, and we'll send it to you ASAP. So I've got the evidence bag here. And I will place. I'm trying to get the. There we go. Is that better? I will place all the contestants in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 in there. And what I'm going to do is I will pick out 5 one at a time. And those 5, each one of them will not be the winners. Okay? I repeat. Let me put my microphone over here. I'll slide this over here. All right. Or should I do it over here? Is that better? Can you see it over here? I'm trying to do it so you can see it. So 7 names are in there. Lindsay, how you doing? Ginny, Polar Bear, Boji, Anita, and Micah. And 1 will be the winner. Let me check something here. All right.
Tonight's a big one. We brought out the big guns. Our friend Finn's got diabetes, and we think it could be fun to see who can guess his blood sugar. We've got it in this year, and oh, when we say the number, I know you'll say, oh my God, no. Let's see who gets.
All right, here we go. Are you ready? All right. Well, these are people who during Q2 guessed my blood sugar correctly, but it was a tie. All these people tied, so this is the big drawing to see who the winner is. So to get into this bag for Q3, at the end of this show, you'll have an opportunity to guess my current blood sugar, and that will get you in the running for Q3. So this is Q2. So the first non-winner. How you doing? How you doing? You are not a winner. How you doing? You are not a winner. But thank you for playing along. Our second non-winner. Bogie Green Street. Bogie Green Street, you are not a winner. All right. Who else is not a winner? Mike Carpenter, you are not a winner of today's drawing. Okay. Let's see who else is not a winner. Ginny NYC. Ginny NYC, you are not a winner. All right, I will pick out the name of one more non-winner. There are 3 left. And Polar Bear Chic, you are not a winner. So according to my calculations, that leaves, I believe, Anita and Lindsay, right? Anita Mayu Wilson and Lindsay Tyler, right? Yes. Okay. One of you two, you are the 5 non-winners. Now I'm going to pick out the winner. Okay, the next name you hear will be the winner. It's going to be either Lindsay Tyler or Anita Mayhew Wilson. Coming out of the evidence bag. Drum roll, please. And our winner is Lindsay Tyler. Congratulations. You are our winner. Way to go. Way to go. So, Lindsay Tyler, you now need to contact the mods. You can go to the Vinny Originale shop, pick out what you want, and then you'll have to provide some information about what item you selected, if it comes in a size, what size, if it comes in a color, what color. We'll need your mailing address. We will need your email address. And I think that's good. And just so you know, Anita Mayu was the last one in the bag, but is also one of our, she's the first runner-up. So Anita, you are first runner-up. If Lindsay is unable to fulfill her duties as the Q2 winner, then Anita, you will step into her shoes. Okay? That was fun. All right. It's almost time for me to go. By the way, yeah, Lindsay did guess. She guessed on a low day for me, 63. That was the lowest blood sugar I think I've ever had on a live stream. So big deal. Let me see. I'm getting some word from the courthouse. We've got some crowds. All right. All right. So that's it. So now we're going to actually play the game. But before we play the game, I'll remind you, I am a type 1 diabetic. It's been a pretty normal day for me. I feel fine. So that's the only clues I'm going to give you. It's a normal day. I feel fine. So as soon as the music starts, you can start. Now, you put your guesses up there. Please, only one guess per entry. Okay? Here we go.
Type 1. He's type 1. His pancreas is on first. He has diabetes, type 1 juvenile diabetes. And so it's time to guess, is more or less. What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar? Under 70, he gets lightheaded. Under 60, all the alarms start ringing. Over 180, he starts to get lethargic. But when it's 90, Vinny, eyes are singing. And so it's time to guess, is more or less. What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar? But take a guess. Yes, take a guess. Let's guess Vinny's blood sugar now.
All right, big congratulations to Nico for 116. 116. Fantastic. All right. So you're now in the running for the Q3 winner, and it's whoever guesses it the most times correctly during that quarter is the winner. If there's a tie like today, then we'll have a drawing at the end of Q3 out of our bag here. So thank you, everyone, for playing. Fantastic. Let me remove this. Boom. All right. So that's the program. Don't forget, July 4th, we'll have a Tangent podcast on Friday. Vinny and the Tangents, special holiday celebration. We'll see what hijinks we have in store. Don't forget tonight, 8 o'clock, be talking about Diddy, be talking about Idaho. 9 o'clock, deep dive into all the facts that we learned about Idaho today on Vinny Politan Investigates. Thank you so much to the Mod Squad. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for the great conversation. I am Vinny Politan. Have a wonderful day. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
Say goodbye. Thank you for watching Vinny Live. We'll be back, but I don't know when. We hope that those super chats. Please hit the like and do subscribe. Let's do it again on Vinny Live. Now before you go, just one more thing. Please post below, say anything. Vinny Live, it's Vinny Live. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Vinny Live, it's Vinny Live. Woo-hoo! It's Vinny Live. Now before you go, just one more thing. Please post below, say anything.